I mean, in total, we'd be talking at lost about 45 pounds, probably about 12% body fat from the beginning, just in terms of those kinds of things. Got off of some medicines to deal with like thyroid issues, which I love that I just said on the internet. Also, when I got into CrossFit, was coming off some significant cardiac surgery that had caused all kinds of issues that one would expect in terms of losing mobility and losing strength, and much of that is back now, and a lot of the cardiac function is much improved since before I started doing CrossFit. So on the whole, it's been a much better health perspective. Switching to what we define as the paleo diet, so switching to much more vegetables, leaner meats, trying to moderate the types of fats that I take in is what made the big change. Literally within the first month of not eating gluten, I lost 20 pounds.
Wow.
So that's been really impactful. Changed things like blood pressure, blood lipid profile, all the sort of key markers that one cares about have changed a lot, along with nutritional. That might be one of the more surprising things, I suppose, right? But it's not been hard at all. We're going on 2 years of a really vegetable-focused paleo diet, and it's really not a challenge. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy your food, you just learn to enjoy things differently, and your taste buds change, and you come to appreciate some different growing seasons that we're lucky to have here, and so on the whole, you just tend to value your food differently and have a different relationship with it. I would argue a better one. The biggest comparable performance change, which is interesting, is recently we had Zilker Relays in Austin, this team relay race that I did with a few of the other athletes from class, and did per mile split time the best time that I've run since high school.
Wow. With
no running training whatsoever, outside of the few 400s or 800s we do in class. And one of the more obvious bits is when I started doing CrossFit under the guidance of a couple of clients at the time, and I was coming off pretty big cardiac surgery, was I didn't have any kind of mobility, and just a lot of the movements weren't physically possible because I had lost a lot of joint motion and just didn't have the confidence to get back into these things for obvious reasons. And not that I'll be competing in the games in 2012, but I'm back at the point where I can do things now. I'm back at the point where I have that mobility and I'm working to get better form in the movements, which is just leagues away from where I was when I started. And things like, putting my arms over my head were not even really feasible. And so those have been big changes, obviously, as an athlete. I think why we keep coming back here is a really nuanced question for a lot of us that ties to why we come here in the first place. Everyone likes improved performance, better health, the benefits we see of that. But it's also impossible to not value other people's progress that you see going on around you. That's a big thing that keeps, I imagine, a lot of CrossFit Central clients coming back. You see other people's growth, and there's great joy in that. There's a lot of value in that, to see these other people doing things for themselves, because we perhaps don't get to witness as much of that as we might like in the world. And here's a whole bunch of people doing it together consistently. That's probably the biggest draw for continuing to come back.